Hey, everybody. It's Monday. My name is Paul Cook. I'm the pastor at 3 Point Bible Church in Jonesboro, Georgia. And every Monday, I like to get together and do what's called, I call it a Monday musing. It's an opportunity for me to, think about God's Word and just some of my thoughts on it. Yesterday, we celebrated Palm Sunday. It's the first day of Holy Week. It celebrates the time when Jesus rides into Jerusalem on the back of a donkey, and the people are excited and they're shouting, "Hosanna, blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord." And as they are shouting out, they are laying their cloaks down and they are putting palm branches down, and the children are waving palm branches, and it's a big celebration. And just like when we get together on Sundays, every Sunday, as we gather together to worship God, it's a time of great praising and worship, and it's excitement that we're able to gather together in the house of the Lord. But shortly throughout that whole week, things begin to change. And so after Sunday, here comes Monday. So what happened Monday during Holy Week? Well, on Monday during Holy Week, one of the things that Jesus did was, it says that he grew hungry and he went out, saw a fig tree that just had some leaves on it and no fruit. And so he cursed it, and then immediately it withered. And the disciples are going like, how did that do that? And Jesus answers them. But then as we look more into that, in the Old Testament, a fig tree symbolized the Hebrew people. It symbolized Israel. And so by doing that, Jesus is basically saying, you have not borne fruit. You are not ready. And so it was a kind of a mixed blessing at that point. Well, it also says, and I wanted to read this to you. This takes place on Monday. It says, and Jesus entered the temple and drove out all who sold and bought in the temple, and he overturned the tables of the money changers and the seats of those who sold pigeons. And he said to them, it is written, my house shall be called a house of prayer, but you made it a den of robbers. So again, in anger, he goes into the temple and he sees where they have changed things around. As people were gathering, 500,000 people in Jerusalem during this Passover time, and they're all gathered there. They're going to the temple, and the temple has this, you can't tithe any money. You have to tithe what's called temple money. And so the money from your currency had to be exchanged, and they were extorting people at huge rates. The pigeons that they sold in the temple, they charged 25% more than the pigeons you could buy outside of the temple, but you had to use those temple pigeons. And so Jesus came over and he was upset about it, turned over the tables and got on to them for turning the house into this money changing place instead of being the house of prayer that God had ordained it to be. Another thing that happened during this Monday, it says, and the blind and the lame came to him in the temple, and he healed them. And so Jesus had a busy Monday, cursed the fig tree. He turned over the money changing tables and got onto the scribes and Pharisees about what they were doing in there. And then he spent time healing and teaching. And so as you begin your Monday on Holy Week, I want to encourage you to kind of spend time in prayer. Maybe pray for those that need to experience more of Christ in their lives. Maybe pray for yourself that God would begin to do a new change and a new revival and a renewal in your life. And we don't want to be like the fig tree where we've got some leaves, but the fruit is not being born. We want the fruit of the Spirit to be apparent in our lives, not so we get any credit, but so that God gets all the credit. Well, I'm going to continue my thoughts on this Holy Week, and so I invite you just to join me, and we will experience Resurrection Sunday coming up soon. Love you guys. Let me know what you think. Let me know how I can pray for you. I would love to do that, it would be a privilege for me. Also, if you don't have a church home, we would love to see you here at 3 Point Bible Church. We meet every Sunday at 11 o'clock, praise and worship. There's the word and prayer, and we just spend time in the presence of Jesus. Love you guys. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.